big jar made of air drying clay. I could have made a video about how I did it, but I didn't, because I didn't think of it until after I'd made it. I only had a tiny bit of clay. This is not very much clay. So it's just leftover clay that somebody else had discarded. They were making something, and then I think it's quite nice, isn't it? Sort of alright. Anyway, it didn't really take that long really. It was a dried up bit of clay and I had to get water and smooth it, but I made it into a little ball. I made it into a little ball and then I pinched it. It's a pinch pot. Pinch, and then I smoothed it with my fingers and some water, and I had clay all over me. But it was rock hard because it is clay. It was very, very crumbly and also hard, but I put lots of water in it, and then I made it flat there, and then made the little head. It's a jackal. Looks like a horse. It's a jackal horse. Anyway, I made that. I'm going to paint it with something, but I don't know what. I'm probably going to have to buy something. I'm not sure what. Maybe acrylic, but that might... Because it's air drying, I can't really glaze it. Because you'd have to put the glaze on, make sure it's all good, and then fire it. But I don't have a kiln, and it doesn't need a kiln. But I had fun making it. About the shopping, I ordered some shopping online, and it was just about to come. I got a text saying it's here in 15 minutes, and I'm like, I'm covered in clay. But it didn't come anyway. I washed off my hands. It doesn't quite fit. Maybe I should sand it down when I'm not sure. Sand it down when it dries a bit. It nearly fits. I don't know what I can put in it. I think this is the god that had the liver. It's a much taller thing, much bigger, big enough to put a liver in it. And I'm not obviously going to put a liver in it. Maybe a wasp's liver. No, I'm not going to put... I don't even know what wasp's liver. That's gory. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put them here to dry. It's nothing cold. I was doing this and I was thinking, oh, I'm really enjoying this. I used to make jewellery out of clay, air drying clay. I used to make little discs of it, like about that big, and then I would gently carve them after they'd... I'd have to sand them down. I'm fine, thank you. I wouldn't really do the smoothing when they were wet. I would wait until it was dry, and then I would sand it down, and then I would carve them, which was very labour intensive, and then I would sell them for not that much money. I'd have to paint them as well. I got all these different paints, and I used a mixture of different, mostly acrylics. I think it was acrylics that I used to use, and dabbed them and painted them delicately, and had all sorts of beautiful colours and stuff in them. And I had a bit of nail varnish. I found out is very good with, and then I'd varnish them, and they were great. But then the first lot I had this varnish that if you got it next to your skin, it would heat it up and it would melt, and you'd have a sort of patch of varnishy skin, and that did not work. But the next few were perfect, and they lasted for years. I've still got loads of them because I did sell loads, but then but they weren't, I didn't make much money off them really. There was a lot of work for not an awful lot, because I think I charged £6.50, and I'd have to put like a thing on them, not a string. Some of them were string, some of them were leather, depending on whether you were inclined to buy animal or vegetable products. And they all cost the same amount of money to buy. I think it was £6.50 I was charging to start with, and people were like, that's a lot of money. I'm like, it's taken me days, if not weeks, to make each single one individually. And everyone's like, yeah, it doesn't show. I have got commissions as well. Somebody wanted me, because I put like little symbols. I had a big book of all different symbols, like arcane and interesting symbols and beautiful patterns and things, and I would do all sorts of things. And it doesn't pay really. And I would do all these things. I made like Fimo bead jewellery as well. So you make like millefeuille, like million. It's beautiful, beautiful, delicate work, and you do these, and I made semi-precious stone jewellery and all sorts of lovely stuff, and nobody really bought it. And a lot of the stuff I left when I left home. I left them, and my mum carried on with the jewellery making for a little bit, I think. But I had quite a lot of findings. That's what you call the little bits. I had lots of findings, and I had a box on, and I had all the tools. And then when I came home, it had all been used, and it was like, oh no. I had little pearls and all sorts of amethysts. It was beautiful, and I thought, oh, I can do something with that. and then I didn't because it was all gone. It's all disappeared. Oh well, so I probably spent a lot more money on that hobby than I made. It was supposed to be so that I could get some money. That was sort of my job at one point. I was a life model, and also I was studying journalism. I don't know what the timeline was. Maybe I was studying journalism after that. But I was a life model, and also I worked in the museum, and I made jewellery. And I helped in a gallery that my father was... they didn't get money for that, though. That was more sort of like, if you're living at home, rent-free, then you have to work for your... So that's what it was. So that did not make much money at all. But I was missing it. What I mean today, where I was going with this, is when I was making this and I was thinking, oh, I really like ceramics. Maybe I'll do... Yes, I was a life model. Maybe that didn't pay much either. And I found out that they were going to pay more. And I went for the... Basically, it was like £6.50 an hour, which at the time sounded like loads of money, but turned out to be very much lower than the going rate. But whatever. And then I life modelled in a local senior citizens class after that, because it was like, well, and they had a whip around with a hat. They would get me money. They would all donate it and chip in, and that's how I got mine, which worked out at more than £6.50 an hour, which was much better, much more lucrative. Anyway, my point is, I was making that, and I was thinking, I really like this. Maybe I'll be the next, what's his name? What's that guy? That guy, his alter ego is Claire. I can't remember his name now. Blank. My mind's gone blank. I was going to say Carson Daly. That's not his name. You know who I mean. Anyway, I was thinking of doing ceramics. I'll do a degree in ceramics, and I'll make things. I'll make little pots, and that'll be my new thing. But there's not really anything much going on. And it's not really COVID friendly at the moment, is it? This sort of thing. Like touching things. But I mean, you know. It's clean. You wash your hands. You have to wash your hands. You have to wash your hands because you've got clay all over them. What's my favourite thing to sculpt? I don't know, because I'm not massively... That's the first time I've made anything in clay for quite a while. Oh, well, I did some this week because I helped some other people make it, and I really got into it. It was fun. So we made coil pots and slip and slide pots. That's not what they're called. There's something like that. It's like you score and you stick things on, and you glue bits of clay together with just using other bits of clay. It was fun. I always wanted to make stuff with silver and gold as well, but what stops me from doing that is the very high temperature and heat, and the scarediness of thinking, oh, I will burn myself. I'm very scared about burning myself on liquid hot metal. I think it's because we did Bible studies in school, religious education, and there was a whole thing about all the people giving their earrings and melting them all down and making a big golden calf, and then Moses coming down from the mountain and going, oh, you heathens, you've turned away from the Lord, you will drink this melted gold, drink it. And I'm being like, that's a bit much. That's not really acceptable behaviour, is it, Moses? You're supposed to be the father of these people, and you're making them drink liquid gold. What? Maybe my Bible studies teacher was religious education teacher. She was really not Bible. I mean, we were just studying the Bible. Back in those days, you didn't really. It was just the Bible that you did in RE. Whereas these days, you do all the religions, and it's much more exciting and fun. And you learn about other people's cultures and all the different things. But then, in those days, you just did the one Bible, or the two Bibles. Well, there's lots of bits of the Bible, really. Anyway, you just did that. And maybe they just focused on the gory bits, I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, I want to do ceramics. That's what I want to do. There's loads of things I want to do. I want to write, I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to play, I want to make things out of clay. Playing clay. Could have rhymed if I'd set it up better. Yeah. Been writing poems as well. Helping other people write poems because they're learning to write poems. I'm like, if you put this, and this is how it scans, and this is how it rhymes, and this is how you make it so that the rhythm is intact, and this is what you do with the stanza, and it's all great. And I was like, just bouncing them up. And one of the people that I helped won a little award for the week's work. That was fun. And I was like, ooh, yay! I have helped somebody achieve their potential. That's good. Shaping young minds like clay. Clay minds. That would be quite grim if you actually did shape them like clay, because you'd be going like that, rah, 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 and coiling them up. That would be so much. That's not appropriate. So shaping your minds like clay is really not acceptable. But metaphorically, yes, that's what you're doing, isn't it? But I am enjoying. This is just a bit of old rubbishy clay that was left over. I didn't even know that I could get that much out of it because it just looked like a lump of rubbish. It was just like from all the tables, we were going to just throw them away. It was like, I can just gather these bits up and stick them together, put them in an old plastic glove, and I'll make something out of that. And so I did. That was fun. Anyway, yeah, clay. I was thinking of buying some more, and then I could do like tutorials. Stuff. Have you? That's good. My flatmate has too. Ollie. He's got an appointment to do his, I want to say inoculation. It's not that. And I'm completely going blank with words. It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Grayson Perry. Yes, he's got an appointment to have his Grayson Perry. And Grayson Perry is like the time before. I was trying to remember the potter, the ceramics guy. Jason Perry? No, not Jason Perry. That's a different person. Grayson Perry. Jason Perry and Grayson Perry are very different people. Very different people. But can you imagine Beverly Hills 90210 with Grayson Perry instead of Jason Perry? Probably would much improved. I would go to see that, and Jason Perry wearing a frock height and making little pots with erotic figures on them. Yes, I suppose that would work. Maybe that would work. We're not talking about woodwork, Elise. We're talking about ceramics. But in investigation, inoculation, in calculation, in I can't remember the word for it. It's when I jab. It sounds really violent. Completely gone blank. Unbelievable. Anyway, good to see that lots of people. I'm waiting for the second one. I had the first one, and my parents and my brother had the first one in the beginning of the year, so they're still waiting. Do you? That's not. Grayson Perry's fine. At the beginning of the year, so they've got a month or two to wait because they're waiting 12 weeks. Now I had the Pfizer one. They both had the AstraZeneca one. All of them, the three of them. All three of them. And that they're waiting 12 weeks. And I think in Wales, they're going a little bit sooner with the Pfizer. But in England, they're waiting 12 weeks. So I'm going to have to wait a long time, which is probably just as well, because I've got nothing else to do. I can't go home for Easter because they're still not letting people into Wales. Apparently, in Easter, if you live in Wales, you can travel to other parts of Wales. But if you live somewhere else that's not Wales, you can't go into Wales. So I can't go and visit anyone. So I'm very sad. I haven't seen them since August. I suppose it's all right. I spent summer with them. That's better than some people. I didn't see them at Christmas. Usually go home for half terms. It's so sad. I want to go and visit. Meh. But maybe in summer it'll all be good, and I'll be having 2 sets of Pfizers in my arm, and then I'll be ready to go, and they'll all be done too, and it'll be lovely, and we'll all be happy and jolly, and everything will be good again, hopefully. But we hope. We live and hope and hope and hope and hope and hope and hope and hope. Yeah, I'll remember that word in a minute. Or maybe not. Maybe it's blanked out. Why? I don't know why there's a blank spot in my eye. I'm a bit worried about that. I'm just like, what's that word? And the more you think of the word, the less you get the word. Stupid word. Stupid head. So, I mean, maybe I'll just sort of walk around the houses to get the other words. They're involved with the words. And instead of using that word, I'll just make a whole creation of a whole world of other things surrounding that word and not use that word. It's not inoculation, it's vaccination. Of course it is. That's what I was going wrong with. I was like, it begins with I. It doesn't begin with I, Philip, does it? It begins with a V. That's where I was going wrong. It's when you go, oh, that word, it begins with, it's blue and it begins with a P, a thing that I'm thinking of, and it turns out to be red and it begins with an R. Or non-fungible tokens, yes. Yeah, thank you, Philip. Yes, I had complete, my brain was going, no, what was the word? What was the word? And the more you think of it, the less you think of it. Vaccination, of course, it's vaccination. A vaccine, of course it is. Non-fungible tokens, are you talking about Bitcoin or Dogecoin or that they are, yeah. No. I don't know why you're talking about non-fungible tokens. Fungy fun. Dogecoin's going up again, isn't it? Yes. I go through the alphabet and I get the wrong letters because it's like, no. Don't know what. Proof of ownership. Are you talking about Bitcoin now? Proof of ownership. Yeah. I don't know. I have a few crypto coins and they go up. And you go, yay! What do I do with them though? I don't know how to get them. And then they go down again. You go, no! I left it too late. And then, unfortunately, some people go, no, I'll sell them. And they're low. And then they go back up again. And they go, no! Very dangerous. That's why I haven't bought very many. Most of the ones I've got I've just acquired through clicking things or going, nah. Every 5 minutes, bing, bing, bing. Got 1 millionth of a coin, 1 millibillionth of a coin. And eventually you get almost 1/12 of a coin, which is worth nothing. And then that's great, yeah. NFTs are being used to pay for art. Are they? Oh, I see. Yes, non-fungible assets are being used to pay for art. And then you've got a fungible asset made of art. Yes, made of fungi. Yeah, exactly, Andy, exactly. Art is the scam. Art's not a scam. Art, if you like the art, if you appreciate the art, if that art is something that you think is worth the money, because if that has almost certainly, even if you think that's rubbish, the artist has mostly spent time and effort getting there. And even if you know, the whole process by which they've had formed their career, they've studied for years and they've thought about it and they've, you know, even if it looks like they've just thrown it together, they might have done. There's years of work behind that, getting to that point where they just go, now that is art. And it's art. Because I am the creation. Da-da. So you're putting value on the piece of art and also how it came to be and also the concept. So, but if you appreciate it and you like having it, if it's of value to you, then it's of value. And also you've got to think about how you know, you've got to think about giving the artist some money and, you know, they've spent ages, they've spent their entire life trying to make these things. Now, some art doesn't really get, it gets appreciated for very little time and then it gets offshored into somebody else's house and they maybe keep it in a bank vault or something and nobody sees it, and that is a bit pointless, really. If it is an amazing, wonderful piece of art, then maybe you should buy it for the nation, whatever nation, all the nations, buy it for the world. And then everybody should appreciate it. Or if an individual is going to buy it, then they should really appreciate it. And maybe they should be forced to show it to the nation every now and then. It's like, well, we'll give you money if you let us see it. I suppose that's fine. You can go, hey, here's my beautiful painting, or piece of ceramic, or brick made of elephant poo that I have acquired. And I will put it in this glass case. And every second Sunday, you may go past as if it is the corpse of Stalin, and you may watch it and wonderment and give me some money at the end of it. And that's what art should be. A sort of glass coffin full of a dead body. What? Yeah. Is that art? Stalin's corpse is sort of art, wasn't it? The art of the the makeup art and the wax and all the stuff that went into it. Did you? Aha, Boheme, aha. So, we've had a lovely week, haven't we? No, it's been horrible. Bad things have happened. We will not talk about the bad things because I have talked about the bad things and I talked about it in a I meant it to be not seen by everybody, that I know. And unfortunately, Facebook filters being as they are, I messed that up very badly. People that I did not mean to see things, saw things, were very upset. And I was very, very contrite. No, I wasn't. I was like, I am not going to listen to you. And it caused arguments. And then, so we won't talk about things. Don't talk about anything serious or horrible or terrible. I've learned in my life, even if it's genuine and from the heart, because people will go, no, you have hurt my feelings. You're like, it's not about you. It is about me. Everything's about me. And then that's very sad. Yes, you could make works of art with baked beans. That's a good idea. And then you could eat them. And they are valuable for that moment. And they have served a purpose. And they are beautiful to see. Yeah. Everything is beautiful in its own way. Ah ha ha ha. Yeah. So I'm trying to keep away from the serious stuff, as usual. Be a facade of beautiful happiness. I'm so happy. Everything is good. Nothing terrible can ever happen in this world. It's a terrible, terrible lie. But I pretend anyway. That's mostly a pretend. It's like, yay, the pretense. It's all good. Yeah, they're very crap. Yeah, they're so crap. I had set it on one. See, I was using my phone and I thought I'd set it up. And then when I looked on my laptop, that filter very much not it had not kicked in. And I was like, oh no. Yes, the more you have, the more you toot. Toot, 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 toot. Yes, exactly, Andy. Oh, dearie me. So I'm going to try and be light-hearted and happy forevermore so that nobody can see the terrible emptiness within us all. Not just me, everyone. This is nothing. It's just the inner life is just like, no, the ennui, the darkness, the bitterness, the hell. But outside you're like, yes! And I think that's just life, isn't it? Let's keep it light, keep it light, keep it light, keep it. There's another, it's not that. It's a song from the producers that I've slightly changed there. My hair's gone fuzzy again. It's still wet from washing it because I've been using Dead Sea salt and sort of washing my hair by using the I've got like baby shampoo that's sort of it's body wash and shampoo and conditioner, and I washed it, and then by rinsing it I've just put it in the water that's got the bath salts in it, so it's gone a bit crinkly and weird, as if I've been to the seaside, really, the Dead Seaside. Yay! Whoop-ha! And then my hair is floating like it does in the Dead Sea. Hair floats in the Dead Sea, the whole body's floating in the Dead Sea. Yes, so that's why my hair's gone a little bit peculiar, because it's got salt on it and weirdness. I usually keep it up, and you know. And then also when I'm going out at night, what with everything that's happening, I'll keep it underneath my hoodie, and go like this, and I'll do my hoodie up, wear my mask, and then completely, and then nobody will come near me because I'll be like some sort of alien thing. A caterpillar thing. Ow. That hurts my eyes. I'll try not to do that anymore. Yes. So that's how I will live my life. Like a caterpillar. A caterpillar. Exactly. Elise, phone home. Elliot. So, what's this week? What what glory will we see? What amazing things that make us go, oh, because we're like, everything's going to get better. It can only get better. Things can get better. And then terrible things happen and we go, no. And the rattle, the death rattle comes and we go, oh. But all we can do is move on, pretend everything's good, and move on. Yeah. Ooh, the guy that Elliot, who's just Henry C. Thomas, is that his name? Henry Thomas. Yeah, I haven't seen E.T. for quite a long time. I've said this before, I used to really like E.T. and there was, at the same time, there was a lot of film tie-ins, and one of the best was custard cream biscuits, cookies to an American. The custard creams are like little vanilla-y type biscuits, 2 little ones sandwiched together with the vanilla cream. But these custard creams came in a packet of 3 and they were green. They made them green and they had E.T. on the outside, and the only place you could get it was a garden centre that was halfway between my house and Raglan Castle. And I used to like going to Raglan Castle, but we used to go to this garden centre quite regularly, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, to get things from my mummy's garden. And we would go there and I would go into the gift shop and the cafe and I would get some of these. They were quite old by the time, because this was years after E.T. had come out, and I don't think they'd made them anymore. And the only reason they were still selling them in this garden centre is because they didn't have that much trade, and nobody else except for me and my brother would buy them and eat them. So this is like 10 years probably after E.T. had come out. We were still eating these very, very, very old E.T. biscuits. Maybe they weren't originally green. They were green when we had them. And I had assumed that they were supposed to be green, but thinking about it, maybe that wasn't the colour of them, and that was just some sort of eldritch patina, some spooky mould thing that had grown on them. I'm going to say no, they were definitely meant to be green, but I'm not entirely sure. They were very nice. They tasted just like normal custard creams. There was nothing significantly different about them except they were custard creams and they were green. And they had a picture of E.T. on the outside. Yeah, great tie-in. It's a bit weird really, because E.T. wasn't green. He was sort of greyish. He was sort of khaki really. It's a sort of green, I suppose, brownish green, but not bright green like these cookie biscuit things were. So I'm not quite sure why they were selling them. Just because they thought they could, but I can't see that they could have sold very well, because this was the only place in the whole world that I ever saw them. Well, I won't be eating those again, because they don't exist, unless maybe I'll go to that garden centre and they'll still have them. This is quite a long time later now, quite a long time. But well, we don't in this country dye things green for St. Patrick's Day very often. I know, like in America, you like dye the rivers green and have green beer for St. Patrick's Day. I'm not sure that happens. Certainly not in Ireland, and probably not in Britain. And I've never seen anything dyed green for St. Patrick's Day. I might be wrong. Maybe there are pockets of green stuff that people have dyed for St. Patrick's Day. It's St. Patrick's Day soon, isn't it? Maybe we'll see. Maybe there'll be everything will be green, and I'll be like, oh well, I was wrong about that. Like St. David's Day, you don't see everything made of leek and daffodils, because nobody cares about St. David's Day except for Welsh people. Now, St. David's Day, I didn't celebrate it this year, really, because every day's the same. But that was 2 weeks ago now. And St. David's Day, oh, St. David's Day, what did I do for that? Nothing. Nothing at all. I just sat in my house and went, oh, it's St. David's Day. Yeah. I did take some video of some daffodils, and I did do a message to camera about St. David's Day near the daffodils, and I was going to post it, but as is always the case these days, I didn't get around to it. So I've got daffodils, foxes, various other things that I filmed and not posted, and I didn't make anything. These I could have made a lovely tutorial about how to make a canopic jar for a very small pet, maybe. If you've got a pet that you're going to make a tomb for, then you can put them in that. I'm going to put rings or something. Earrings. I don't wear earrings, but I have earrings. So I'll put the earrings in here because I'm not putting them in my ears because the holes that I had in my ears have dried up. And healed up. Last time I tried to poke them through, somebody bought me some earrings and I felt very embarrassed about it. I was like, oh, if somebody bought me diamond earrings, and they did, and then I was like, oh, I didn't mean it. They're like, well, you said it. I'm like, I didn't mean it. It was a joke. But they're very nice earrings. So I've got beautiful earrings that somebody very, very, very generously gave me that they thought that I'd asked for. But I can put them in that now. That's where I can put them, in this beautiful, beautiful canopic jar full of diamond earrings. Beautiful. On that note, maybe I should leave you. Thank you very much. I think this is the liver jar. I can't remember entirely, but in the real canopic jars, they had one for the intestines, one, I think it was happy for the intestines. I can't remember. Not hoppy, happy. I can't remember what any of the names of the people. There's a jackal-headed one. There's a baboon, a human one, and a hawk. Is it a hawk? Yeah. Horus-y sort. They're sons of Horus. And there's a liver, and there's a heart one, and no, there's not heart. They threw the heart away, didn't they? No, they didn't throw the heart away. Yeah, one for the heart. No, they packed the heart. Oh, I'm so hopeless. They packed the heart and put it back in the mummy. There's one for the liver, one for the intestines, one for the stomach, and one for the lungs. That's it. And I think this one's for the liver. Liver with fava beans. That's what we'll have. Yes. There you go. Beautiful. I definitely will leave you on that very grim note. La 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 la. Tiny canopic jar. See you next week. Bye. Yes, that's true. It is Mummy's Day today. Silly me. Bye bye.